VocalEye Almost Live Zoom. National Theatre's A Poet for Every Day of the Year. Hosted by Amy and Amantea. With special guest, Lindsey Adams.
All right, friends. Well, here is your official welcome to this VocalEye Almost Live event. My name is Amy Amantea. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Associate Director here at VocalEye. I'm your host for these Almost Live events and a proud member of this community that joins on Wednesday evenings. And I'm so proud to be your friend. I'm so happy that you join. I'm so delighted to be here in the space. I always say this, but Wednesday nights bring a joy to my heart. And shout out to those who were able to join in the Vancouver and surrounding areas on the weekend to celebrate some community and some birthdays and such. There was a group of 35-ish of us, and it was a joy to be in space in 3D with folks. So thanks for all of that. And a shout out to those of you who join every week here, who share your time, your thoughts, your donations, your money, and we really appreciate all of that. It's very grateful to have you as part of this community. And thanks for the letters of support and testimonials that you send in. Those all get shared with our funders and go a long way in helping us provide this kind of programming. If folks happen to be joining us from our YouTube channel, you can also support us by, sending in donations or testimonial letters or clicking like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, checking out our website, vocaleye.ca. It's all sorts of ways that you can check us out. And if you happen to see us at the theater, come over to our VocalEye table and say hello. We would love to interact with you. VocalEye is broadcasting to you from the traditional and unceded or stolen lands of the Coast Salish peoples, in particular the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. For many Indigenous peoples in this region, so colonially known as Vancouver, British Columbia, the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh First Peoples, which are our Coast Salish peoples, for spring, spring is deeply tied to the land. It's tied to food, tied to ceremony, and to renewal, rather than to just, quote, nice weather. Spring marks the return of life cycles, especially fish like salmon and heron. These aren't just food sources, they're relatives in relationship to reciprocity. Some communities hold, quote, first salmon celebrations and ceremonies, welcoming the fish back and giving thanks. It's about respect. Take what you need and honor what gives life. So spring isn't passive, it's spring isn't passive, it's participatory. Harvest season begins with intention. Spring is when people move into the land and they gather foods and specific foods like camas bulbs, early plants, and medicines. Harvesting is often communal and ceremonial, not just practical. It reinforces connection to land and community. Think less about grab and go and think more about relationship and responsibility. In many Coast Salish traditions, the year follows a spiritual and ecological calendar, not just a January to December calendar. Winter equals ceremony and spiritual work. Spring equals re-emerging into land-based activity and sustenance. And summer equals abundance and gathering. This rhythm has been followed for thousands of years. A spiritual and grounding time, spring can be seen as a time to reconnect with the land, with teachings, with each other. One source puts it simply, spring is a time to honor the land through ancestral practices. It's less about, quote, new beginnings in a trendy sense, and more about continuity, returning to what has always been there. I love that. It's more about returning to continuity and what has always been there. So that's what I have to offer as we just hit the first day of spring, not just a handful of days ago. And so hopefully you all are feeling some renewal this spring and some reconnection to the land that you are settled on or occupying. It's a Wednesday. It's March the 25th, 2026, and tonight we're proud to offer you our Almost Live event number 211. Can you believe it? 211. And tonight is the National Theatre Cinema's presentation of A Poem for Every Day of the Year. A Poem for Every Day of the Year. And tonight's special guest is none other than our very own Lindsey Adams. Come on in, Lindsey, my friend. Come on back. Come on back. All right,
Long
my love. How
time.
are you?
I'm well.
It's
Thank you
only
so
been a
much.
few minutes since I've last
I
seen
know.
you. So, for Lindsey, for folks who don't know you as well as I do, because
Mhm.
you are normally like stage management in the back, doing all the
That's right.
comings and goings and wearing multiple hats.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you dialing in from? Who's
Mhm.
Lindsey? What do you do when you're not in the almost live Zooms?
Yeah, yeah. So I am tuning in from the Sunshine Coast, which is a little ferry ride away.
Did you actually get sunshine today?
We did. Yeah, it was from rain to hail to sun to now quite a lovely little sunset out my window. So yeah, I live kind of in the forest a little bit, quite remote. So yeah, all the work I do is from here. I do come into Vancouver here and there, but primarily I'm here. I moved to the coast about 7 years ago now, and my history, actually, yeah, I mean, I've known you, Amy, for almost 15 years now, I would say.
Yeah, it's been a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. So
Yep.
Amy and I met each other working at Real Wheels Theater Company. Um, so this has sort of been my trajectory. I worked with James Saunders, who was the founding artistic director of Real Wheels, moved up the company and worked with you guys for many, many years with Rena, David Roach, Jeffrey Wren,
And
and
VocalEye was describing Real Wheels theater shows at
that's
that
right.
time, and I was attending Real Wheels theater shows.
Yes.
And then I became a board member of Real Wheels Theater and an actor with Real Wheels Theater. Just for
Yeah.
context. Yep. Okay.
Exactly. So
Yep.
we've had a lot of crossover. So I knew Steph, of course, from working at Real Wheels, and then when I moved away from Real Wheels, Steph kind of said, "Hey, would you be interested in coming on over here?" And I said, "Heck yeah!" So that was sort of the transition there, and that was probably, gosh, I'm kind of bad with time, but I think that was about 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
And
Makes
so when
sense.
I'm not doing VocalEye things. And with Vocal, I do many different things. So I do obviously stage management behind the scenes for Almost Live. I write the newsletters, do the social media, and if maybe here and there, I've emailed some of you folks and friends. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm a painter. So I do visual art on canvas, some portraits, and I also do abstract work. And I am also a poet. And I don't often say that. I don't often describe myself as a poet, but I'm getting more comfortable saying so, which is nice.
I
And
love
this,
it.
yeah, I haven't had an opportunity really to share my poetry, actually. So this is a first for me.
Lindsay's going to share some poetry tonight in our
Yeah,
our theme of poetry, a poem for every day of the year.
exactly.
But don't worry, friends, we're not going to play 365 or 66 poems tonight.
Yeah, that might be a little
So
much.
we won't overload people with poems. Lindsay, you have a virtual background of one of your paintings.
I
Do you
do.
mind maybe doing as best as you can, because it's a bit of an abstract, but kind of share with us a little bit of a description? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
No, it's
how would
good.
you
Yeah.
describe it?
So this is actually, so what's behind me is actually a cross section of a painting. So it's just a small section of it. And what you see in my background is, I would say, primarily black uh, shapes with that kind of cross into other colorful shapes. So we have sort of like a green pickle shape on the right that has some sort of pink hair at the top. Some almost like mm, s- splooshy blue pieces
Splooshy is a
coming
very
down.
descriptive term.
Does that count? This is really hard. Um, some pink, sort of like almost what looks like flower petals to me.
Hmm.
Um, on the left side is some almost like textured, you can see the brush strokes of very like deep maroon and burgundy with some sort of like blue dots. And really, what I describe these paintings as are emotional landscapes. So they are
Oh,
abstract, but to me, they're like imagine a feeling and all of the things that go along with that. So there might be a little wisp of blue here and like a really dark, hard sort of like line over here that's sort of encompasses maybe like a really complex emotion, is kind of how I think of it.
and do you
Um,
paint them over time then? Or do
I
you paint it
do.
all at once? So
I do.
it's like if I have an emotion, right now I go to the canvas and let that emotion out. And then
Yeah.
maybe in another day you have another emotion and you go to the canvas and you let it out, or
Yeah.
that kind of idea?
And really, what these abstract paintings for me are, they're very layered. So, like
Hmm.
you said, it's like I keep continuing to go back to it and really, um, I mean, emotions, especially really complex, heavy ones, often have a real narrative to them. So it's kind of like a constant reflection of, your own emotional landscape, really, is kind of
Yeah,
how
yeah,
I,
yeah. I love
yeah.
that term emotional landscape. That's really cool. Lindsay and I had talked about a while back now when we were doing a lot of
Mhm.
the mural tours,
Yeah.
because Lindsay's a painter, but she's also a muralist, um, about how we could get community involved in
Mm.
making a painting together. So
Still my biggest dream. I'd love to do
right?
that.
We're
Yeah.
still looking for some funding to do that, but if we ever are able to do it, I would love to get, blind and low vision community folks together to create, I don't know, an emotional landscape or something, because it's not like we have to paint between the lines.
Exactly.
You can just go up to
Exactly.
the canvas and make your mark in whatever
Yeah.
color you choose. Oh, you want to make another mark? No problem.
Yep.
It's abstract,
Absolutely.
so it can really just be about a collective feeling or individual feelings, or
Hmm.
it can be about whatever we want it to be. And I would love to see some kind of public art that's reflective of disability experience or the blind experience or something. um Anyways, I digress, but just know
No.
that
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
on our minds to try and be able to find some kind of way of making a community project,
Yeah.
especially because we always get such interesting feedback from
Hmm.
the blind and low vision community about the crowdsourced project that we do with the murals. Can
Yes.
you imagine if we put a painting that the blind and low vision community made up on the
Wow.
Crowder to see what
Oh,
sighted
wow.
people say about our artwork? That
That
would
would
be
be
so
so
cool.
cool.
Oh my gosh, I'm writing a grant in my head right
I
now.
know, like we have to do this. It
Yeah,
just gives me goosebumps every time we talk about it.
yeah.
And even just having like, yeah, just the final audio, like the final description of a piece like that would
Hmm.
be so
So if
cool.
folks like this idea and you're into it, like write us a sentence or two about if you want to do it, if you're interested in it, what it would mean to you to participate in a way like this. If you need some prompting questions, let me know and I can help you, I don't know, in some way. But I think if we came up with some like community support answers or questions, we could convince some folks to give us some money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, we're here
I
to talk
know.
about poetry, even though and maybe we read some poetry as we're painting because that can spark emotion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what kind of poet are you, Lindsay?
Okay, so I I'll tell you how this all began, basically. So David Roach, who Amy, you know very well, you're friends with
Hmm.
David. So for those of you that may not know David, he is not only an Order of Canada award winner for his disability advocacy, he's a performer, he's a writer, published author himself.
An
He's
amazing
a
human.
humorist. He's just
Lovely.
literally an amazing and wonderful human being. So we met many, many years ago through Real Wheels again, and we started writing together on David's suggestion. So this is really, David has been an incredible muse to me and an incredible cheerleader and encourager. I was sort of like a secret writer. I enjoyed writing, but never had any plans to do anything about it. And we literally just would get together and almost do stream of consciousness writing. So
Mhm.
we'd have a prompt and we'd set a time and write. And it could be on the theme of spring or love or relationships or what does sadness smell like, kind of getting weird with it. And over the course of 10 years, we did this together to the point where it was like, I think we've got some really cool stuff here. Maybe we should think about putting it together. And
Mm.
so over the last couple of years, so David lives on the Sunshine Coast as well, so we're close and we get together and we started reviewing our writing together and sort of categorized them and brainstormed and felt really inspired. And so yeah, we have a nice collection of poems that we are currently trying to publish together. And so that's sort of the kind of poet I am. I don't know if that answers your question, but I think for me, I really ruminate and meditate on sort of the duality of life, and I'm inspired a lot by nature, I would say.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, you're going to offer a couple of short poems before
Mhm.
we share the National Theatre's cinema presentation of their poem. And the National Theatre in London does this quite often. Um, so you actually go to the theater and you watch this televised thing where they are on stage. So you can go live, but they film it so that you can also watch it anywhere in the world. Just like we can watch, like, is it, there's like some certain ballets that they have, like at local theaters here in Vancouver at certain times of the year. So it's that kind of idea. So there's lots of different episodes of different types of poetry read by British actors. Um, so it's like an anthology on stage, and they're reading from these publications, and some of them are called a poem for every day of the year, and some of them are called a poet for every day of the year. Um, but Lindsay's gonna share a couple of poems now, Lindsay. So I'm gonna just let you do your thing, and I'm gonna disappear for a moment. So the stage, my friend, is yours.
Thank you so much. Okay. Um, I'm going to start with a poem called California Sun. Dust-covered sage on the edge of the road. In the sun's blinding rays, the canyon's curves burn and toast, sending the smell of herbs and flowers slowly into the still air. The sun felt like a spotlight, a California sun, deserted in the desert, but I feel more alone in a crowd. Seeking confidence in the shade, leaves throwing shapes on my face. Letting go is a dissonant process, and I haven't done it yet. Glimmers of freedom like breaks in the clouds. I danced away those feelings for a time, and you took my hand and everything I am into yours. And this one's called Spring is Not Yet Here. In a moment of fear, you retreat and lie on your back. In this position, you come unfolded from the other person. Your hands are empty at your sides. From here, yes, you can see the ceiling, and to the right, bare branches that strike darkly. You are detached in this moment, locked in that space in your heart, which is similar to that time of year, when spring is not yet here, but very close. There is trepidation in this anticipation of bursting blossoms. You can't tell them you ache at the thought, so you continue to think beside them in bed, stiff like a bud, uncomfortably restrained, but coming open at the same time. Softly shifting sheets. I didn't find your hand to hold it, even though I could feel it close to mine. And you were asleep, unaware of any of this. And then the last one before we put on the recording is called Practicing Patience. Practicing patience around everything in my environment that stimulates me. This practice is both to savor and to endure. The smell of your hand, that sound of conversations melding, the impenetrable motion of the sea, the slam of a car door. If I could sit with all these things for just a moment more, or push them away entirely. I am tiny and in the center of it all, and sensitive. At times, I am on the verge of shutting down, taking in too much. And others, I am lifted up by it like a dry leaf in wind, crisp, inspired, alive. The thoughts that arise are noise and music, chatter and whisper, angry and meditative. All the time, it is time that I am both hyper aware of, yet disconnected from. What I need right now is quiet, distance from a certain chaos that has been propelling me forward. It is necessary, this chaos. I run with it and say yes, gathering a second, third, and fourth wind, losing steam around people, and then eventually outlasting them. Everything in point form to save time. But then I realize that there is no need to rush. Why am I rushing? Those fitful glances at the digital clock on my stove, looking at it like a lover I am disgusted with. How dare you? There is no patience like the patience you receive from accepting things you didn't want. And
That's the first act by
first act.
Lindsey Adams. Yep.
Yeah.
Those are really beautiful, Lindsey. Thank you for
Thank
sharing them
you.
with us.
Thank you so much.
All right, my friend. Well, I think we will have a listen of our feature presentation, although I think you're much more exciting. I shouldn't say that out loud for the recording. This is going to be a wonderful presentation from the National Theatre, a poem for every day of the year. And it's approximately 55 minutes long. So we'll have a listen to some poems from professional actors from the United Kingdom. And then we'll come back and we'll hear some more from Lindsey and maybe have a little Q&A with you.
Lovely.
All right, my friends. Rick, when you're ready, why don't you hit play on the National Theatre's A Poem for Every Day of the Year.
Due to copyright restrictions, this feature presentation has not been recorded. Please check below for more information, including links to the material if it is hosted elsewhere.
All right, friends, that was from the National Theatre. Poetry for every day of the year. So we're going to welcome back Lindsey into the space. I'm curious what our poet Lindsey took from that. I'm also curious of if our audience, of course, has any thoughts to share. But Lindsey, did you have any favorite poems?
I did. I had this piece of paper that I was like, okay, I'm going to keep track of all these ones that I really love, and it's like full and it's scratched up.
Yes,
So
yes.
I really loved that.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, like there was so many powerful ones in there. I mean,
Yep.
the ones that I've really like heavily starred were probably a little bit more bleaker ones, but they were just so powerful. I love the funeral blues.
I did too.
Oh my God, I was like, that might have been my top favorite. I loved Love After Love that Helena Bonham Carter
I did too.
read.
Yeah, the invite to yourself in the mirror and
Yes, and
yeah.
just sit with yourself and feast on your own life. Like that was absolutely gorgeous. I love the Yeats poems, the two little shorter ones at the beginning. I love the Worcestershire one called Home. They're all kind of becoming a bit blurred in my mind now, but this
Yeah.
was the more contemporary poet that had written for Beyonce. That poem about home I thought was incredibly powerful. And I actually loved some of the funnier, like Mother Goose ones that they threw in there. I thought that was quite cute. And
the Michael McGonagall one.
yeah, I loved that. I really did.
And Begin Again.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, and not Michael Finnegan. Begin Again. Yeah, Michael
Begin
Finnegan.
again. Yeah.
And Begin Again. That was fun too. Yeah.
Yeah, and it really, for me, it really drove home. Like, I always feel very shy reading my own poems. So to hear, and not to mention, like, I love a British accent. So
Yeah, right.
anything that, like, read me the telephone book in a British accent and I'll love it. It's poetry to me.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But
I
you know what
gotcha.
I mean? But I mean, to have the actors that have the pauses and those, the really performative way of reading it, that definitely brings it home.
Yeah, they know exactly where to stop so that something lands. and you
Yeah,
have a moment to reflect on what was just said before they pick up that next section. Because
totally.
sometimes I'm guilty of the same things because I'm so familiar with my own pieces that I
Hmm.
could rush through them, and not let them land the way I had written them to land, right? Because you just sort
Yeah,
of rush, it's easy to rush through them, but when somebody else reads them, they sort of they're processing them at the same time that they're reading them.
yeah,
It's so not unfamiliar, but so um well, I guess unfamiliar is I guess I have to look at it, but
yeah.
it's so just not, not it's so not firsthand for them. It's that
Hmm.
it's I don't know. I mean, I do the same thing when I have to read Shakespeare stuff. Like I have to sit and analyze it and think about it and what does this mean? And so like poets of their own work don't have to do that. But
Exactly.
other
Yeah.
people reading it have to take the time to unpack it and think about it, and
Hmm.
that makes the read much more dynamic.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this whole thing that the National Theatre is doing, I hadn't heard about it until
Mhm,
you scheduled this event. And
mhm.
they've got a lot of these because obviously, it's a really powerful thing to have. I
Yeah,
mean, I must confess, like after a little while, it starts to
I know.
become a bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It would be
Um,
nice if they had them in half-hour chunks,
yeah.
um,
Yeah,
but it gives me some ideas of things that we could do in the future. If we
totally.
wanted to explore some more poetry stuff and break it up a little bit so that we have the again, this is my big analogy, which is like smelling the scented candles, but you need the coffee beans to
Yeah, in
like
between.
reset. So how we
Totally.
do this to reset, to take a break, to reset,
Hmm.
and then to jump back in, right?
Yeah.
Like how
Yeah.
we can do that uh, in a way that's maybe a little more digestible, or
Yeah.
how we can contemplate things differently, or yeah, just it gets
Hmm.
my brain going a little bit about
I know, me too.
future
And
opportunities.
absolutely. And I loved even like her little sort of like ad libs before each piece, a little bit of
Mhm.
context for, a little blurb before one sentence just to set it up. And then a little thing to note that not everybody would obviously see or notice here in the group is in the recording. So obviously each actor reading their piece would stand up, but there was also someone in the back sitting at a desk where there was a screen that the audience could see, and also in the video you can see it, of someone drawing. And so each piece there was an illustrator in the back drawing with a pencil that they would show him drawing, and then the final little sketch at the end of whatever I guess he took from the poem, which I thought was a really cool addition as well, but something that would have been missed here, but kind of an interesting addition to that as well. But yeah, I absolutely loved that. I thought it was very cool. And now I feel extremely shy to read my other three pieces.
Oh, come on.
Well,
If
nothing
you
like,
well, you are going to read them, but if you could choose somebody to read your poems,
oh,
who
yeah,
do you think
well,
that would be?
I mean, it would
Like a
definitely be
celebrity
David.
person, maybe.
Oh, a celebrity. Okay. Well, we do have a celebrity in the house. David
I
Roach
know
is
we do.
here.
I know we do. Um,
But
that's
as
an obvious choice.
yeah.
But let's say it was somebody who had millions of dollars in their bank account.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Sorry, David. I wish I had millions of
Okay.
dollars.
Okay, I've got one. I've got it.
Going.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, my favorite narrator voice of all time, David Attenborough.
Ooh, that's not a bad choice.
Right? Like he's got my favorite, the English accent. I can listen to those BBC documentaries like 24 hours a day. I
That is
love his
not a
voice.
bad choice.
Right?
Yes, yes, interesting.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Mhm.
We might have to ask David that question later
Yeah,
after you do your read.
yeah,
Um,
totally. It's
uh,
another David. It's in line. It's in line.
that's fine. Okay, well, Lindsay, I'm gonna just like step back and let you have your space to share your last three poems.
Okay. Thanks, Amy. Oof. All right. Here we go. So these next three, the first three I read were kind of in the theme of spring. These are sort of um, self-love and relationships, I would say. 3 short poems. First one is called Loveable You. Love yourself. Did you say something you didn't mean? Have you made a mistake? Were you short-sighted, lazy, selfish, or impatient? Yes. You've been misunderstood many times and misinterpreted those around you. You get tossed up in the tornado of life, and I'm trying to tell you it is all okay. Love yourself as you are willing to love and have loved, without conditions, regrets, or restraint. Gentle, kind, soft, like a belly, a pillow, or a petal. Uneven, crude, volatile, like a mountain, a spill, or a thundercloud. Of course you are lovable. And this one is called Lime in the Coconut. Like 2 billy goats, we butt our heads together, you seeking attention, me seeking solitude. A simple activity becoming grounds for complete relationship breakdown. 2 of us, so different, yet so united, so intimate, yet so opposed, so open, yet so stubborn. Dueling in our duality, we forget to be kind. I criticized your music, you yelled. The seeds left on the table, unplanted in disarray. Morning lights spreading across the table. I slam the door and leave the scene, my billy goat head pounding. How dare he? How dare she? Knowing the root of the issue needed tending to, digging up a bit, you come to me with apologetic eyes. All I can do is stare back. I feel a rush of emotions flip through my system like a Rolodex. My nerves trembling through a range of hot anger, scarlet resentment, terrifying vulnerability, to the trembling blue wash of remorse, finally landing on a soft mound of throbbing, heartfelt love. You speak words of truth, words of regret, words of understanding. I thought in my billy goat head that words weren't enough, which they aren't, and you know that. But good listening is worth everything, and you did that for me that day. So we shifted like the tides into a new love. And then the last one is called Celebration of Life. How do you celebrate life? What is a life well lived? Is balance to be admired or gravity? Free, carefree. Everything can mean different things. Dueling with the fear of death and the deer of life. The compliance with the mundane in-betweens. Trying to hold all of this, spilling over with scalding questions, slippery anxieties, bulging hopes. How does one treasure each loving moment while arguing? I am so fragile and weak, and my emotions take over. Bumping into people, I am unsteady, unbalanced, upturned. An expanse of people, moments, dreams, loves, an infinite loophole back and around, a switchback toward the beginning again. The beauty of life is the raw, the rugged, the fleeting.
Wow, Lindsey.
Oh.
Those are really beautiful and really personal.
Mm-hmm.
I really love that. I really love how personal and intimate you are. And of course, because I know you, I'm thinking, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Who is that? Who are you
Yeah.
talking about? I digress. But you can't help it when you know somebody. When
I know,
I
right?
wonder who
Totally.
that could be. But it's still, it's like, it's really nice to be able to um I don't know, I'm like, first of all, it's written in like very like plain, understandable language,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Not too flowery. Yeah.
Yeah, but it also has these sentences that are kind of like, they don't have to be full sentences. They're broken up, and some of them are choppy, and some of them are just like
Mm-hmm.
one word sentences, and that is really nice too, and the way you read it is really very dynamic. So thank you for sharing
Cool.
those.
Thank
Um,
you. Thanks for
yeah,
saying that. That's really cool. Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I don't know what I was going to say.
Well, I just want to make sure that folks in the community know that they have opportunity to share thoughts or ask questions. If you want to share thoughts on what you experienced either with the National Theatre presentation or Lindsay's work, we're here to entertain those thoughts and comments. And yeah, David, you are also welcome to come in because Lindsay and David are gonna do a share of something special in their own almost live episode, so we can tease a little bit about that too. So
Thanks.
yeah, so it would be great. Oh, let's see, we got a hand already, and it's Ben. So come on in, Ben.
Come on in, Ben.
Lindsey, 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 Lindsey.
Ben, 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 Ben.
That was kind of what do they call that? Better than what Amy would do.
See, I told you. She looks better. She sounds better. She has a nicer background. Yeah, better what I would do. Better than what I would do.
So, I have got a question for you. Actually, it's a two-parter, but I'm going to ask you the first part. One, for the ones that you've created, do you have your own type of like a Facebook page or a website that is live online that has these poems onto it? And now that you brought this to the VocalEye, how does it make you feel now that you're in the spotlight?
Really great questions, Ben. Thank you so much. With the poetry, I actually don't have a website for my poems. I have a website for my my paintings, but I will. So basically, what I've read to you tonight is part of a collection of poems that both David and I are trying to publish. So once that all kind of goes forward, definitely a website is going to be in order. So stay tuned for that. It will be there. It will be there eventually, but it's not up right now. And then your second question of how do I feel being in the spotlight? Very uncomfortable. Super shy. It's not my forte, to be honest, but it's just lovely to be able to share some of my art with everyone because we're a creative team at VocalEye and we support each other, and I want to get to know everyone a little bit better and share some of my own work. And so I feel like as my first sort of poetry reading, this is the perfect group of people to do that with. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You did awesome. And I'm going to say goodnight to you and Amy.
Thank you,
Good night,
Ben.
Ben.
And I will see you on the next one. And Amy, you will hear from me by email soon. I'm
All right.
working on something that I think you would love.
All right. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Bye for now, guys.
Have a good
Thanks,
night, Ben.
Thanks so much. Bye, Ben.
I think, Lindsay, it would be lovely if we did a described tour of some of your artwork as well.
I would love that.
We should work on that. I think that would be lovely.
Absolutely.
We got a hand for Megan. Come on in, Megan. Let's give Megan a moment to hit the unmute button.
I was just wondering, I liked all the poems, but the question was, why did the hostess call William Butler Yeats a pretender? Did she actually call him that? Like, that's kind of harsh, because my mom and I love William Butler Yeats. He's awesome.
Huh.
And like, why did she call him a pretender? Or am I wrong? I don't know.
I didn't catch that part. Did you? I don't remember that.
No, I don't know why she would feel that way, or
like a bit, I'm thinking, whoa, that's a bit harsh for him to do that.
I don't know if it's perhaps something that is like a quote from somebody that she had read, or something he's known for.
Okay, okay,
I don't
okay,
know.
okay. But I do love the poem, especially the one about the soldier, soldier. I mean, that's really
Yeah.
cool. I love that.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
soldier, soldier, will you marry me then? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, you know, that's really cool. I love it. I love it, you know.
I was trying to remember if I'd ever heard that poem before, and then I remembered that it was used as a song in a movie. The character had sang it in a movie.
Oh,
But
really?
it wasn't this like they were drunk and the lyrics weren't right.
Oh,
Um, and it would be a controversial movie today because of its content, but it was pretty sure it was Little Big Man.
really?
And I'm
Okay.
sure it was Dustin Hoffman
Mm.
who was singing it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was Dances with the Wolves. It was Dances with
Oh,
Wolves. That's the
okay.
one. And it was
So
Kevin Costner who was
that's
singing
my
it
costume,
while
right?
he's cleaning up his. If anybody's seen the movie, well, goes to a soldier fort and it's abandoned, so he's cleaning it up and he's, how can I marry pretty little girl? I have no
Oh,
shoes to put
right.
on. And it's like, I
Oh,
know I've heard that somewhere. So
yeah.
he gets the poem wrong, but it's the same poem. It's
Yeah.
like, God, that's kind of familiar, but I don't know where I've heard it. So
I know, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's weird how these things sort of pop into your life. Still would be a controversial movie today,
Yeah,
um,
for sure.
based on the time it was made and the context of it at the time. But
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah. Anyways, there you go. This has been really lovely, Lindsay. Do you
It
want
really has.
to tease what you and David are bringing? Is David with us still?
He is, but I don't know if he hasn't come on, so
Okay.
not sure
Well,
what else to
maybe
say.
maybe you want to tease
Yeah.
what you and David are going to be doing in a couple of weeks.
Is it a couple weeks already? Okay. Um, so I think what we would do is we have an interesting format of our book. So without any spoilers, we will describe what we want our book to be like
Mm-hmm.
and probably share again some poems, of course. And what we've also done is created these sort of essays in between each, I would call them chapters, I would say. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
David Roche just put his hand up.
Oh, great.
Okay, let's let him in.
Come on in, David.
David, you're muted and you're cameraless. Yay!
I I cannot start my video. It is
Okay, no problem.
I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed this evening. And primarily I enjoyed the both of you.
Aw.
Your charm and beauty and talent is just exhilarating to me. So thank you for letting me know. And I look forward to the next time.
Thanks, David.
David.
Thank you. And thank you,
Aw.
Amy, too, definitely.
It's so nice to hear your voice, David.
Good.
Aw,
Mhm.
what a sweetie.
I know. Lovely
Absolute
human. What a
sweetheart. Love
lovely
you,
human.
David. You're the best. We've got Nancy coming up here.
Okay, let's bring in Nancy and then we'll let you finish your thought, Lindsay,
Yep,
on what
for
the
sure.
book's going to be about. But
Yeah.
what you're going to share. Come on in, Nancy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we gotcha.
I really enjoyed. I love the love poem one. I really that was
Mm-hmm.
nice, and the roses are red one. The question was,
Mhm.
you know, when you got the memory of, you know, the things that you keep and everything else brings lots at the beginning. That always stays in my head. I don't know why. I keep everything and got lots of memories of everything. The one at
Mhm.
the beginning. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh
Yeah, we
Yeah.
gotcha.
no, the poem was good, and you know, how long does it take to do a poem like that?
Oh, yeah. Geez, some of these really heavy hitters. I can't speak for these powerhouse poets, but for me, sometimes they just literally just come out of me like in one sitting. It's unbelievable.
So do you, it's very touching, very nice.
Thanks, Nancy. That's so sweet of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, I mean, there could be a poetry
Maybe
workshop in our future. Like, who
I
knows?
think there should
uh,
be because
Oh
work
gosh.
something.
Oh gosh. I love
yeah,
it.
I love a prompt. I love a poetry. I love a prompt for writing. I find that
Hmm.
really helpful. And then sometimes if I'm in the right mood, I get a prompt and I can just really release a good poem if I've got it sort of like fumbling around in my head for a bit. But yeah, I do some editing for sure. So sometimes it can take a month or even to get it right,
Yeah.
going
Well,
back over it.
it's nice to do these things like, you were saying earlier that you and David, were getting together and writing together.
Mhm.
And I remember when we did the My Mother's Story workshop as a
Mhm.
as a group. So, we would get together and talk about the writing process, and it was broken down for us so that it didn't have to be scary. Because when
Mhm.
you go into something like that and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, I have to write my mother's story, it's like, where would I begin? I have no idea. And so I
Yeah.
think about the same thing when you're like, oh, we're doing poetry, like, where would I begin? And it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be scary because you're in a space with somebody who writes poetry and they can guide you through that process so that you have something at the end that you can be proud of. Just like when some of us took the offering from Linda Bartram to connect with artists and do an art project, and it's like, oh my gosh, what would I do and how would I do it? And
Mm.
well, you have an artist guide with you that can help facilitate the process, so you don't have to be so scared about whether you're painting or blowing glass or ceramics or whatever you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So I think that we could do something if we wanted to, and share the results in this space.
Absolutely. I think that would be really amazing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually made a really great contact today, with my friends at the Vancouver Adaptive Music Society,
Oh yeah,
VAMS.
BAM's nice.
So I've reconnected with some of them, and they've reminded me
Mhm.
that they have free studio time
Oh.
as part of their not-for-profit. And it's like, I always forget about that, because you can go in and sit with them and record things like an audio description track or poems or
Oh,
whatever, and create a professional quality, like, I don't know, audio track that you want to put on a
audiobook.
YouTube channel, for example,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. So, if we were to write something as a group or whatever, we could
Hmm.
we could like have a fun experience of recording something. Or I don't know. I think about all of these folks that want to participate in what VocalEye does, and
Hmm.
like how to partner with other organizations that can support the work that we do, and we support the work that they do. And
Hmm.
um, you
I
can
love that
partner
idea.
with grants together, and it's like,
Yeah.
how can VocalEye work with other folks in the community, the blind community, of course included, that are writing books and want to turn them into audiobooks, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
And we can lower the budget on that by having free studio time, where that
Yeah,
costs hundreds of dollars an hour
totally.
to do
Yeah.
that. So
Ooh, we've got two like really hot ideas, I think.
I know the hamster in my brain doesn't sleep. This is just a little peek into my window. My brain friends, this is why I'm up all the time. So I have big dreams. I have big dreams, and for me, they all feel fun, but um, you know, people have to want to do them with me.
Yeah,
Like, I,
definitely.
I think that they're fun, but other people might be like, "Are you nuts?" I'm not interested in writing a poem, but maybe other people are, and all it takes is a couple of folks. You can do it
Yeah,
online. Anyways, I
love.
digress.
No, I think that's a great idea. I think we need to put a pin in that one for sure.
Yeah. So you and David are going to be back. You're going to
Yep.
share your book and
Mhm.
um, some things that you're doing with the book, some work that you've put into it, some poems that you've done,
Mhm.
and hopefully you'll have some more updates on, like, is it going to be published, or how are you publishing it, or like where you are in that journey.
Yeah.
And you may even know how we can access it, or what the plan is moving forward, because
Yeah, exactly. And
it'll
that's
also be
one of
exciting.
components that both David and I are very excited about is how we make this book accessible to everyone. And of course, that would be having an audio component. So,
yeah,
that's
we might know some people who can help with that.
Yeah, exactly. We just might.
We might know some people. Yeah.
So yeah, we're really looking at this and as not just a poetry book, but an art book. And an accessible art book at that. And whether it goes on to becoming kind of like a multimedia art exhibition that would include, poetry. That's cool. I'm like you, Amy, I'm a hamster as well. So I'm like, what, there's a lot of thoughts flowing with it and what we can do. And so yeah, I hope some of those things come to fruition for sure.
Yeah, that would be very, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, my friend, it's been a lovely evening. Thank you for sharing your work in the space, and thank you for being our special guest and sharing in the poetry that also was shared through the National Theatre cinema presentation. So
I
just
really love
appreciate
that.
you. Yeah, I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
I so appreciate you inviting me to be sharing my poems with everyone tonight. I really, really, really enjoyed this. Thank you so much, Amy.
It's my pleasure to have you in the space. So with that, friends, we'll wish everybody a happy night, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
VocalEye, vocaleye.ca. Special thanks to our funders, the Canada Council for the Arts, the British Columbia Arts Council, the Province of British Columbia, and the City of Vancouver.